I'm Eugene Blackman, live in Belleville, Texas. I do part-time electrical work. I got 40 years for possession of stolen goods case that I received in 1986 that I shouldn't have never received no time. They sent me to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I went for parole violation on I think it was not reporting, a failure to report, or late reporting or something like that. Ooh, man, it was like living in an urban. There's no ventilation. Water condition as to drinking water. There's no drinking fountains. You got to drink out the sinks. The temperature from other bodies even increased the heat. Some of them went through nausea. Some of them went through, some passed out, some collapsed. And some was like me, blurred vision, slurred talk, nausea, and headaches, and just unbalanced. The only consolation we could get was say like from about 2 o'clock at night until 6 or 7 the next morning. And when my blood pressure went up so high, I would go to the infirmary, and then a lot of times the infirmary would record me coming and delete it from the computer because they didn't want to hear the fact that the pedometer was too high. And so they would do the cover-up, they'd watergate that. So we did bring it to the administration's attention through step 1, step 2s of grievance, and through I-60s of requests. At first they would sign off on them and say that they were going to look into it. Then later they would ignore them. They would later send people like from maintenance. He would come in with this thermometer, digital thermometer, and he would make a statement, "This don't lie." So when he sit there and read it, I said, 108 degrees, it ain't lying, is it, Mark? "Well, we're gonna do something about it. I'll talk to you later," and get out. That's all we ever got from them. Okay? They had something like 54 people there. The normal capacity for that dorm was 28 people.
You know, there are a lot of things about Mr. Blackman's case that were a little serendipitous, or felt that way. Most cases that we file because a prisoner has written to us and has told us about a problem that he or she is having, and then we investigate and we file a lawsuit. Mr. Blackman filed his case on his own.
I started filing my lawsuit something like, it took me 4 months to file it. It took me 4 months to cross all the T's, dot all the I's, get all the paperwork done, get it proper in its proper perspective, and to get it in the courts.
Because most prisoners who file their own lawsuits lose, and they usually lose pretty quickly because they're not attorneys, they don't have access to many resources, that sort of thing. In this instance, the judge who got the case apparently felt like it had merit, and she actually appointed us to the case. We had no idea that he was out there until that happened.
I was hoping that the federal courts ordered TDC to change the ventilation system or remodify all the ventilation system in every unit in the state of Texas. Every prison system in the state of Texas. I'm not asking for air conditioning, but I am asking for proper ventilation in the unit. Now I knew that if I went to the federal courts, I knew that the federal courts would either look into it or consider it was moot.
We finished our case in chief, put on all of our evidence and all of our witnesses, and shockingly to us, and really shockingly to the defense attorneys too, the judge granted a directed verdict, which seemed totally unwarranted to us, totally unjustified. And we immediately filed an appeal. When the Fifth Circuit finally did look at the case, the appellate judges were just outraged, or they seemed outraged at the conditions in these prisons. They acknowledged what seems obvious to the average person, I think. Putting a person in prison in conditions where the heat alone threatens to injure them or kill them is just obviously unconstitutional. You just can't do it. How could 130 degrees not be unconstitutional? And so the opinion that we got back will be the tool to help really countless other people in the prison system who are experiencing the exact same thing, because you know, it pieced together a lot of different case law that we've been using for one clear, cogent opinion about these facts.
In fact, I was in Brookshire Brothers when I got a phone call, and they had told me that the criminal courts of appeal had ruled favorable to us. I was overwhelmed with joy, and man, that was the best day I had in 40 years. Ooh, that was a good day.